Good morning or good afternoon, whether you're having the second coffee of the morning or the first cocktail of the weekend. Welcome to the Fulbright Best online graduation. We're gonna have, and we have a pretty diverse audience there. And so we're gonna keep you busy for the next hour. Really, the idea is to try to replicate in digital version something that we were supposed to do a month ago, and clearly for clear reasons that we all know it didn't happen. But we thought it would be, absolutely necessary to give a good closing to 6 months of activities that saw a lot of people highly engaged and a community that supported our best participants. So this is a digital make. The way that we're going to organize the next 45 minutes is with a quick introduction of what is the program about, who is being involved, and what's been some of the highlights and experience of the participants. And then the core will be really to give everybody, the 9 participants and 9 besters, the time to share some of their thoughts of what has been the experience here and what they think that they want to communicate to the network of supporters that they encountered. So this is what we hope to be a proper closing. To get the presentation started, I would suggest to roll a quick video of what the Fulbright Best program is all about. So let's roll this.
My favorite definition of entrepreneurship, though, has to do with the fact that it's both a combination of processes, in other words, models and frameworks on how to evaluate and exploit opportunity, as well as a set of skills and perhaps a philosophy, a mindset around creativity, imagination, strategic thinking, and communication.
I was very privileged to join the Fulbright in 2011. I came here with the Fulbright Best program at the time, with my own entrepreneurial idea. It was great for me because I didn't know anything about Silicon Valley, and I got to understand how it works, and also I got to work on my startup. And so that for me was fantastic. And after that, I managed to join a local startup, which was Airbnb at the time. And then I've been with them for 7 years. So I ended up staying here in Silicon Valley for a long time.
The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. Entrepreneurs see great opportunity when there's a big problem because they see that as a big market to address, a big problem to be solved.
What you really need to have is the will to learn new ways of doing things and challenging the status quo, really.
The ability to tell the difference between just an idea and a true opportunity. Fulbright students are special. It's an incredible opportunity that has a long legacy of transformative leaders.
If you really manage to change path and be productive when you come here, it can really change what you're going to do the next 10 years. So I think intellectually and professionally is an incredible experience.
As a professor at Stanford University, I invite you to come to this area and learn about innovation and entrepreneurship and see how it can be applied to any size of organization.
The BEST Scholarship is a bilateral program created by the U.S. Embassy in Italy in cooperation with the Fulbright Commission and Invitalia. It has proven to be tremendously successful for almost 100 Italian participants, and incrementally will be providing opportunities for the winners to interact with leading Italian companies that are craving for innovation to keep on competing on the global markets.
All right. I think that gives you a good sense of the structure of the program. I'm going to show you real quick a couple of other additional data about the Fulbright Best. So there's a little history that I think is relevant to share. This was started by, at the time, the Ambassador Roland Spogli of the Spogli-Friedman private equity firm. In 2007 is actually the same year that I started Mind the Bridge. So we did a have a common ground in the activities of support of entrepreneurship, with the links and the bridges at the time between Italy and US. So started in 2007 with the support of the US Embassy. Today, the program has actually had exactly 100 participants. So this is something that we're going to celebrate. At the end, we're going to have the pleasure to have a keynote from, in fact, the president of the Alumni Association that was revived, in particular with the occasion of turning 100 participants altogether. They've launched 37 startups, created more than 350 jobs, and overall are making an impact, in particular in the activity and the role of innovation for Italy. As I mentioned before, the activity has been supported by institutional partners, clearly the Fulbright Commission, as well as the Embassy, US Embassy, and Invitalia, and a number of sponsors that actually made this possible. We're going to thank them at the end of the conversation, but it's definitely without them, all these activities wouldn't have been possible. Today, the focus of the program is mostly really what we think is the era of startup and corporate collaboration. So while the program in the 13 years of activities has been evolving as the market has been evolving, today in the last 2 years, really the focus of the 6 months and the selection process also of the participants has been done with really the objective of creating a new generations of leaders that can really work the world of innovation, whether that's on the corporate side or on the entrepreneur side. This is how the program is structured. Going more on the focus of the last year and the current year activity, it was a long selection process that happened last year, this time of the year, that involved a number of executives that went through a pretty thorough selection coordinated by the Fulbright Commission. And then the official start was in September. In September, during one of the first large events that we normally host in September, that is in this case, was the Scale Up Summit at the NASDAQ. That's where the official start of the program took place, with a month of activities, what we call the Startup School. That is where really is a crash course of entrepreneurship. The vast majority of the participants had a background in startup creation, some with more mature projects. We're going to hear from them shortly. Some really with the prospect of what it takes to create a venture from scratch. So that was really the crash course, a month fully dedicated to that, after which the participants were matched with different institutions, mostly in the world of innovation and the integration between corporates and startups, sometimes in venture funds, sometimes in incubators, sometimes in accelerators. We're going to hear from the participants themselves. And that has been, the return. The return has been slightly different from what we planned, honestly. So we had a kind of a rushed try to make it back home with the idea that this reintegration into the Italian community is something that would also involve some of the mentors that have been part of the support of the program. We talked about some of the success stories. I'm probably going to skip it also. We'd love to hear from Chiara at the end, from somebody actually was part of the first batch of Fulbright Best. We heard from Andrea, for example, Amesa, that was the first international office, that opened the first international office of Airbnb back in the day, as well as other success stories. Here we have a Cosimo Palmisano, for example, that raised probably the largest US investment in any Italian startup before. 11 million now that we're counting of revenues of the startups created, 35 million invested. So those are just some of the metrics, but clearly they don't give the whole picture of what's being created in the background. Now it's time to go to the heroes and our participants, while I see a lot of live comments coming in. And so before turning the words to them, I think, again, we have another video here. I would like to roll a quick video where we see the participants at the probably right before the halfway through their program, so into their probably the second month. And let's see what they had to say. Let's roll it.
My startup is hyperametric. We want to have the traveler to come back with the positive vibes, even if they had a bad experience or a good experience with their travel.
We provide AI solutions to predict the risk of injuries for workers in workplaces.
Hi everyone, I'm Silvia Catalano, founder of Nerei, a swimmer line made from nylon marine waste.
Hi, I'm Ricardo, co-founder of Typical Off, a startup aiming to build a smart marketplace to connect regional producers with typical restaurants all over the world.
I'm the founder of Handshake. It's an app that wants to change the way how people do networking.
Here, thanks to the startup school, Mind the Bridge, I gain experience, and I have the best mentor to help me to grow and develop my startup.
Right now, we are going to split ourselves in different companies here in Silicon Valley. I'll be working with StartX, the accelerator community, working in partnership with Stanford.
We do big amount of footage.
During these months, I will work for Mind the Bridge as technology scouting intern.
Actually, I'm working now on the fashion incubator here in San Francisco. I'm working also in an enterprise that is called the Silicon Foundry.
All right, I like the clapping at the end. The last picture that you saw was actually the Italian president that had the pleasure to meet the besters, not the other way around. So, all right, back to really our heroes here. Clearly, this is not the same feeling as having a real celebration altogether, especially for Italians. You're definitely going to miss the hugs, the touch, the kisses. But there's one thing that in every celebration and every graduation cannot be missed. That is a little bit of the shaming of the participants, and that's what I tend to do in the next couple of minutes. But I'm going to be very soft. This is more in preparation of also some of their highlights. But I want to share some picture here of some of the best moments. And so again, you saw at the very beginning there was the first day of participations. You can tell how everybody was attentive, well behaved, well groomed. This is 2 weeks after that. This is what's happening in what we call the proverbial Silicon Valley transformation at work. So it's the before and after is pretty clear. There could also be a picture of these current days without haircuts, but it is definitely our participants developing an attitude. This is the attitude in the evening, but this is also the attitude that developed. This is during office hours in our co-working space. It's also clear that they become masters of network development. I don't think that they miss any single moment to make their connections and network wider and wider. But it's also clear that they've been really masters of putting in real life experience their lean startup methodology that I've learned. So this is, for example, Virginia, whose project and business is a food tech that is testing their own product. This is typically as being taught in the Lean Startup methodology, as well as testing your own product. This is Sylvia with his line of swimwear that was able really to test her products and pretty visibly so. And also, this is Gianmarco testing. I'm not quite sure what Gianmarco product actually was again, but anyways, let's not digress here. There's one thing that is actually pretty clear, and this is that this is honestly, and I'm going serious here, one of the hardest worker group that I ever encountered in my career. And this is, I think, a pretty clear sign and picture of what we experience. So with that in mind, also to warm up our heroes here, what we're going to do now is to give the floor to each of them. What we asked them to do also in a shorter version, considering that we're online and people are busy and Friday nights and Friday morning. I asked them to really share one picture that is being representative for them, as well as a few thoughts of whatever was I think the core of what they lived and their experience, and also the opportunity, I think, to thank some of the mentors they have had along their process. So I'm gonna call one by one, and so meanwhile you're gonna see them connected, and we're gonna start with Virginia. I'm gonna present real quick Virginia Cipollina, co-founder CEO of Make It Easy, startups that provides easier food choices and accessible data for people with food allergies or sensitivity. After the Fulbright program, this is one of, again, of the development of the activities. She maintained her position at a Future Food Americas in her Italian office. And she's a graduate of the University of Genoa. In fact, a lawyer of all careers. Almost. So we give the floor to Virginia. It's all yours.
Yes. So basically, to share with you this picture today, because we took this picture the first week when I started working with Future Food, and I didn't know at all the ecosystem, and I didn't have an idea of what I was starting. And neither that I will have such a strong friendship with Andoni, my colleague. And now I'm still working with them, also here in Italy. And even if I'm in quarantine, lockdown, I'm happy every day to get up and doing something that I find super interesting. And so I would like to thank the Fulbright BESTers program for the opportunity to spend the 6 months in Silicon Valley. And also to show me, introduce me to the business world, as I have a low background, and so thank you.
Obviously, I wasn't muted. So you're welcome. So we're going to move to Rome now, I believe, where everybody's went back to their, I think, roots. And next, we're going to call Arianna Rienzo. Arianna, she's an MBA, Master in Business Administration from Tor Vergata University in Rome. She worked for Accenture before joining the Fulbright program as a business and integration analyst. After the program, though, again, this is part of a speed of life. That is now, this day, she started working on a startup that focuses on health diagnostics via phone call and voice recording, and the name is VoiceMed. During the program, she was interning at the Silicon Foundry. Arianna.
Hello, everyone. I'm Arianna. I'm calling from Rome, and last year I've been working for Accenture, and I always worked for big corporation over my past years, and it was good for the methods, but at a certain point I realized that I was a small piece of a big companies. And then I started to apply to Fulbright BESTers program, hoping that I could learn some entrepreneurial skills. And what actually, when I arrived in San Francisco, I opened my mind to a new word that I call Silicon Valley ecosystem, because it's not just a place, but it's more of that. I learned a lot about the different companies and different technologies, and also I saw a lot of opportunities, and I learned how to believe in myself and how to set up a company. I decided to share with you today these pictures because Ludo is the one of the partners in Silicon Foundry, the company I work for. And for me, he is more than a mentor, more than a manager, more than a friend. He's a person that believed in me. He helped me over this time. He pushed me. And most of all, he made me believe in myself. And now in my daily activities, I'm launching my startup, VoiceMat. And every day when I'm feeling down, I always think about this suggestion and this motivation. And so as last thing, I would like to thank him for his support this time. I think that there are no words for thanking such a beautiful person. Of course, I would like also to thank people of Man the Bridge that made this program happen. I would like to thank Silvia, my sister, my friend, that shared with me all this period, and also all the beautiful mentors that helped us in developing our startups, such as Steve or Uttam, and all our friends that support us, like Kashepewe Group and Luan. So thank you, everyone, and hoping to see you soon.
Awesome. Let me join you in thanking all the extended network, and would take very much too long and try to name them all, but I've seen a lot of them actually connected here. So even the fact that it took the time of their day to really salute you guys, I think that's definitely a witness of their commitment into developing new successful entrepreneurs and professionals. So thanks again, Arianna. Now, another female entrepreneur here. Now we're going to call Silvia Cadellano. Silvia graduated from the Polytechnic of Milan. She's a co-founder of Nere that creates sustainable swimwear. You saw that, made from nylon marine waste. Before that, among other projects, she graduated in design for the fashion system, as I mentioned, at the Polytechnico in Milan. She interned for 6 months as a program manager at the Fashion Incubator in San Francisco. Silvia, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Marco, for the introduction. And we couldn't avoid the photo before, but working on the Fashion Incubator, especially with the people I work with, helped me to see and synthesize what really mattered to me at this moment, at this point. First of all, people over products. I'm no longer fascinated by the product, how they are, but how we make them, and especially why we make them. And instead of the results, enjoying the process of making things. And this could apply in whatever task we're doing at work. Another important thing to me now is choosing people, a team I like to work with instead of a job or a position I would like to have. Designing, I am a designer, I was an architect before, and it's a teamwork and it's a collaborative process. And it's very important to have a great team around, not only for the people I work with, but also the person I work under. And in this case, I had Rachel, which I really admire and respect for the mentor she has been to me. Last but not least, another important thing to me is to connect my life view with my work view. And also about this, I would like to thank Rachel, because she gave me freedom and respect all my decisions and my opinion. And she gave me the freedom to express myself and also work on topics that really interested to me, as sustainability. I want to thank a lot of people that helped me through these months. Marco, thank you for all the people you introduced us and all the personality they made you. You made us discover every Friday. I'm grateful for all the mentors, and Steve for your pitching training. Then this pandemic came, and when probably when this thing ends, you will all go back to your regular life. For us, it's quite different. We will not go back to our life in San Francisco, but here in Italy, life is how we know. Life in San Francisco is how we want it to be. Now is life is how we want it to create. In the future is for us to be created. And in this situation, we are all living. I want to remember myself the job of designer, and I also remember to you, food for thought. Designers, our job is to not only to imagine the future, but to create it. We imagine, we design, we try things, we test things, we develop every object. It's basically the prototype, and it's not, especially it's not at the end the outcome what is important, because sometimes the result is totally different to something we didn't even imagine. So I know I don't know if I'm good on doing this on products, since I'm doing that for years now, but who knows if I am able to apply this also on designing in my future. We will see. Thank you.
We know you will. So well said, Silvia. Congratulations. I think that a deep thought for the creative industry, especially in these days, is particularly needed. So thanks again for your nice thoughts. Let's continue now. We're going to move to Enrico Dente. Enrico, a graduate of the Polytechnico di Torino. He was previously the CTO of an Italian scale-up. And he holds, as I said, a master in electrical engineering for Polytechnico di Torino. I spent also a pretty significant research time, a period at NASA Center, JPL Robotics Division. He interned as an innovation manager in IoT and mobility at the Plug and Play Tech Center. Go, Enrico.
Hi, Marco. Thanks for the introduction. Good morning or good evening, everyone, depending on where you're connecting from. I'm Enrico Dente, and I initially applied to Fulbright BEST program for improving my knowledge in business and financial connected to innovation. And I think that I needed this because of my engineering background. And during the past 6 months, I think I achieved all of these targets and even more. And I will tell you why. I previously spent already some time in California in the past, in Southern California, but in Silicon Valley and San Francisco, people are just different. They think different, and that's really contagious. And I know we are pretty used to hear this word today, but this is in a positive form. And you continuously meet and learn of people that achieved incredible results, and you can see them in front of you, and it's something that you cannot experience if you're not living there, as you could like watching the TV or reading the news online. And this changes your mindset. And so apart from all my goals that I had previously set in the past, I think that this is my main takeaway from this experience. And the other takeaway, the other major treasure is people I met, and that's part of the networking. But not only, some of those will become your friends. And one of them, which I want to thank you, and I think he's online right now watching, is Alan Shi, who was my mentor in Plug and Play, and he's director of corporate partnerships for Plug and Play Tech Center. And thanks to his experience and passion, we managed to put together a great project in an amazingly short amount of time. And also, I would like to thank you, other friends I met there. For example, my coworker Aziz Elachem, and that became also a great long distance friend, and the rest of the Fulbright fellows and Fulbright Commission, all the sponsors that made this great program possible, and the mentors, of course. Thank you.
All right, let's start sounding more like the Oscar night. I was actually wondering what's going to happen with the Oscar night in lockdown, but we're way ahead of it. I see a lot of people actually from Plug and Play connected, so you definitely develop a lot of friends there. So thank you, Enrico.
Yeah, that's why I chose that picture with all the team.
Exactly, very well placed. All right, next we're going to call the famous Gianmarco Nuvoli. Gianmarco.
Hi, Marco.
Hi, co-founder and CEO of Handshake, the app that sends business cards to retirement for a new digitized world. So before participating in Fulbright program, he was covering sales and marketing activities in various organizations like Incubus Ventures, W Barcelona, Liberty International Tourism Group. He is a graduate from the ADA Business School of Barcelona, and he was interning, guess where, at Mind the Bridge as the marketing event coordinator. Gianmarco, yours.
Thanks, Marco. Hello, everyone. I'm Gianmarco Nuvoli from Sassari, Sardinia. I have a background in marketing and sales, and I did my internship at Mind the Bridge, as Marco said before. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Handshake, the app that want to change the way how people do networking. Basically, our user will be able to catch the moment in order to remember when, where, who, and why, and never miss another business opportunity. Why I choose the picture, this one? Because first of all, we used too many times the one with the President Mattarella, and I was afraid he would start asking for the image right. The real reason is that at Mind the Bridge in San Francisco, we have a ping pong table, and every day before leaving the office, we used to go there and play ping pong. And I think that in this game, there are a lot of similarities between what I learned from this experience and the innovation world. First of all, in order to improve, we need to play against the best in the field. Federico, my colleague, was the best at ping pong. And the Silicon Valley is the best and most competitive place in the world where you can go to do innovation. In this month, indeed, we had the opportunity to meet people that literally change the world with their creativity and their positive attitude. They were always ready to take a moment to discuss with us our idea and share their priceless feedback. And talking about attitude, sometimes in ping pong, we need to be lucky. We need the help of the net in order to get the ball on the other side and win the game. But of course, we are not always so lucky. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, and this is exactly what happened also in the world of innovation. Indeed, all of the famous entrepreneurs that we have the pleasure to meet, before to succeed, they always fail several times. But the point is that they never give up. They always keep going, and they are always confident on what they are doing. Henry Ford, one of the greatest innovator of all time, once said, "The man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he cannot are both usually right." And this is the most important lesson I learned from this experience, because it's absolutely true that the Silicon Valley is not just a place, but it's a state of mind. And my hope is to bring this state of mind always with me in my life. Last but not least, I would like to thank the Fulbright Commission, Luca, Massimo from Haspal, Marco, of course, thanks, Fede, all the Mind the Bridge family, all the mentors, and my best fellow, and all of the amazing people I met in this incredible journey. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Gianmarco. Now I realize why we were always outside after lunch. There was all the, focusing on ping pong tournaments that was going on there. All good times. Moving on with people that also interned at Mind the Bridge. Now is the time of Matteo Favilli. Matteo, of the whole bunch, is actually probably the youngest, 24 years old. He is the one that happened to be graduating while he was at the end of the Fulbright program. So he studied at the Scuola Superiore Sant'Anna Innovation Management, so right on. Also co-founded 64 Safety, which got incubated in Trentino at the Innovation Hub. As I mentioned, he was also interning at the Mind the Bridge as a technology scout, and I can testify that he's a terrible ping pong player. Matteo,
no, I'm not. So hi everybody, I'm Favilli, and of course I'm the youngest participant in the Fulbright BEST program. Last March, in fact, I graduated with honor in innovation management. That is a master degree jointly organized by the Sant'Anna School of Pisa and the University of Trento. I wrote my master thesis on the evolution of corporate accelerators. That is why, with the case of Plug and Play and Mind the Bridge, that is why I interviewed a lot of smart people in Silicon Valley. And in fact, I want to catch this opportunity to thank all of them again. So during those months, I worked for Mind the Bridge as innovation advisor, doing technology scouting for big companies. I learned a lot, and probably this made my Fulbright BEST experience even better. The Mind the Bridge team was amazing, and all my colleagues were super supportive, and they were always ready to help and to enjoy the time we spent together with a smile. And this is so important in a team. So I'm so grateful with them. I want to thank Marco, of course, Federico, Alessio, Jyotsna, San, and Gianmarco, but also all the amazing people and friends, because friends were really important in this experience that I met in the Valley. So what can I say about the Fulbright BEST experience? Well, I really can say that it has changed my life. In fact, last September, when I ended up in San Francisco, trust me, I felt it was a huge challenge to handle because that world is so dynamic, that world is so fast. But I didn't give up. I continue to do my best. I continue to pursue my dreams because that is exactly what the Fulbright BEST is designed for. Pursue your dreams. So this picture summarizes my experience. In fact, that day, we were all the Fulbright BESTers, were all together at Stanford, and it was the day of the Italy-US Innovation Forum with the participation of our President Mattarella. So we met super inspiring people, such as you can see, such as Chiara Tentori from Enel, but also the CEO of Talent Garden, that is Dattoli on the left. And so it was really an amazing experience. I want to thank you also all my colleagues of the Fulbright BEST. So thank you guys, and see you soon. It's a promise.
All right, and we take that promise, and congratulations again in your graduation full score and with honor. All right, we're moving down the island here back to Sardinia. As you know, Sardinia and the Sardinia region is one of the sponsor of the program as well. So we do have a representation from the region. Next one up, I'm going to call Riccardo Contu. He has a master in international management from the University of Cagliari. I can see with much more hair and a little bit less glasses there. He's also the co-founder COO of typical of the smart marketplace connecting regional producers to traditional restaurants abroad. Also, previously, he worked as a program manager in one of the programs that we have known for quite a long time with good friends, the Net Value, an incubator, a startup incubator that is based in Cagliari. During the time here, he spent his internship at the StartX, the startup accelerator at Stanford University. Riccardo.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Marco.
So what can I say? Fulbright Best was really, for me, an amazing experience, a great opportunity to challenge myself, challenge my approach to entrepreneurship in general and innovation, of course, and of course, an incredible exposure to the Silicon Valley ecosystem. I had the opportunity to meet and get insights from lots of interesting actors of the industry of all the Bay Area, and so entrepreneurs, investors, and other professionals. And some of them are here today, so I really want to thank them. Thanks, of course, Bridge and all the Fulbright Best team for let us having this amazing experience. And I also had the incredible and amazing opportunity to join and work with the great team of StartX Accelerator, as Marcus said, and that's why I choose this picture, because they really made me feel like part of a team. They really accepted me and really accepted me from the very first days, and it was amazing to be project manager there. And for me, it was also like, since I'm a co-founder of a startup, was like to be participating in their accelerator program with the other startups there. So that's really something very rare for a company, especially a company coming from Italy. So it was really, really amazing. So again, thanks for the Fulbright Best scholarship. And now that I came back to Italy, I came back with lots of new inputs, insights, and really pushed to create great things and pursue what I started with my venture. And as Marcus said, I'm the co-founder of Typical Off, which is a smart marketplace connecting regional producers to traditional restaurants all over the world. And if I think of that, and I think of the current situation we have, and the explosion actually of this type of industry all over the world, even in these difficult times, it really makes me think that and prove that innovation and change always create new opportunities. So this is what I really come back with from Silicon Valley. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ricardo. Sorry, I was getting also distracted in internal group. There is, of course, a WhatsApp group of the folks that is going bananas today. So thank you, Ricardo. And next off, we're going to call Giulio. Giulio Brunaro is a PhD candidate at the UCL University in London. Is graduating in design and robotics. Is also a recipient of the Marie Curie Fellowship. Before starting his PhD, he studied and worked at the Institute of Computational Design in Stuttgart in Germany, but also did his master in technology and architectural design research. While at the Fulbright Best, he was interning as the venture data analyst at 500 startups. And after I finished that, I'm actually pretty proud to say that he joined Bridge as head of data and research. So, Giulio, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Marco. And I actually have to say that I'm really happy about the outcome of these last months. I'm still wrapping my head around Gianmarco's speech about ping pong. It's super inspiring. Anyway, I hope you're all doing fine in your separate bubbles back at home. I'm glad I get to share finally with you some thoughts, and thanks for wrapping up this amazing experience of the Fulbright Best program. So, as we know, Silicon Valley is a great experiment based on a combination of talented individuals, cutting-edge technologies, and powerful companies. However, the most valuable thing I've learned from the months spent there is that the success of this experiment cannot really be found in any of those components alone. To me, the reason why Silicon Valley is a role model today is not when it's considered in its separate element, but when considered as a whole. An ecosystem of connections, collaborations, and communities, which becomes a catalyst for innovation, providing the perfect fertile ground where ambitious idea can thrive, grow, and then change the world as we know it. So personally, more valuable than the answer I found during the months of the Fulbright Best program are actually the different questions that have been implanted in my mind on how we can nurture and enable similar connections and communities in different parts of the world to address global challenges that we're facing today, well, especially today, and create a better future tomorrow. So I had the privilege to experience firsthand this. And the first group of extraordinary people I would like to thank are my fellow colleagues of the Fulbright BEST program and the Mind the Bridge family, which I joined, as Marco mentioned. And I've learned so much from each of you, but more than this, I'm really thankful for making me feel as part of a great group of friends, hungry for ideas and discoveries, always looking to explore the infinite number of possibilities, events, and parties, as we've seen in the pictures, that San Francisco could offer us. And the second group I've been part of, for which I feel extremely privileged, is the 500 Startups team. And there, from the first day, I felt so inspired by their mission values, which are built around the discovery and backing of the world's most talented entrepreneur to help them create successful companies. And this really, and I learned so many valuable lessons throughout those months. I feel really grateful. And for this, I would like to thank in particular Coulter Miller and Aaron Blumenthal for their guidance during those months. It's really been a great experience, and it wouldn't have been possible without them. And finally, the third group of people that really influenced my experience in the US is the community of Italian and American innovators that got together in the occasion of the Italy-US Innovation Forum at Stanford University. And the reason is that we always hear stories about Italian excellence, but many times they feel like the exception to be published with great surprise on a newspaper rather than the norm. And well, at Stanford, it was a room full of exceptions, and that make it so that it was not perceived to me as an exception anymore, but actually a new possibility, a new possible reality that is already existent. And so we all left that event with a powerful feeling of wanting to actively contribute to such an extraordinary community of innovators and really giving back to our country. So thank you, Fulbright BEST, and thank you, Italy, for giving me this extraordinary opportunity. I will be forever grateful, and I really hope to see you all very soon. Ciao.
Ciao. Very sweet. Well said, Giulio. Also getting a bunch of messages because apparently we got some of the ages of people wrong. So for the parents, don't worry. What matters is how they feel inside in terms of aging. We do have a few parents connected. So I'm going to say hi and welcome to everybody there. Last but not least, we have Marco Filippi. Marco, a co-founder and CEO of Volvero, an app for connecting owners of vehicles with a community of reliable drivers by leveraging a secure DLT system. Marco has a master in quantitative and mathematical models at the University of Verona. And his internship in the 5 months here in Silicon Valley was at the Autotech VC, a venture capital firm based in Sand Hill Road. Marco, floor is yours.
Hello everyone. I'm so glad on being here and presenting to you what the experience of this incredible 6 months was in Silicon Valley. So I would like to start with the story of the picture. So if you can flip to my picture, that would be great. Yeah. So this picture was taken at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. And that's one of the amazing experience that I had the chance to live during these 6 months in San Francisco. But why this picture? So let's say that we are in 1968 when the artist Kelly is painting this picture. And a lot of things were happening that year. So just to name some, Martin Luther King and Kennedy were killed. Nixon won the White House, and also in mobility, the Apollo 8 reaches the orbit of the moon. But what is really amazing about that picture is that it has the same design of my business card. I am showing to you right now, and I think you can see it. And it was so amazing to see that out of nothing, I designed my business card like months before discovering that picture. And what's the point of sharing this to you is that I kind of explain why I felt so connected with the valley in this month. It was like if I was there since the '68 when Kelly painted that picture. But jumping to something more concrete, so this has an amazing experience, and I'm really grateful to the sponsor and the organizer of the event. What's the reason why I also applied to the Fulbright is important for me to share with you, because I really want that the next Fulbrighters understand what's the motivation of someone doing this. So for me, it was the willingness to learn and to change, but also to face very hard and strong challenges. So I knew that if I managed to reach Silicon Valley, I had the chance to see how the best talents of the world work and connect each other. So for me, it was really something that I always wanted to complete in my life. And I mentioned some experiences. So the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art was amazing. Stanford, Berkeley, for sure. It's something great, but also something very great for me that happened. It was a launch with Mr. Federico Fagin. And we also had the chance to host him during one of our meetup on Fridays. And it was amazing to have the chance to talk with this person, because the way how this man was able to go to the Silicon Valley 60, 50 years ago and completely change the course of the world and the history, it's something very inspirational to me. Another great experience I want to share before ending is, for instance, when we had the chance to visit Waymo. So I got the chance to get connected with a previous Fulbrighter, and thanks to this introduction, she brought me inside Waymo, which is like the autonomous vehicles project of Google. So Fulbright is not just about a program itself, but it's also about a family. And by concluding, I want to thank the sponsors, like the BEST Foundation, the Fulbright, Marco, Federico, Sasha and Daniele also for their great job, and for sure all the fellows that shared with me this experience. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Marco. And I think this is actually a proper ending. By the way, here the intertubes are asking how is that possible you were able to get such a neat barber as everybody else is fighting the growth of hair. But we all know that Marco has his own very private connections always. So he's not surprised for that. All right, that was it. I think was much appreciated. Most of the people that are connected also, were mentioned through your thank you notes. To conclude, let me actually take the very last sentence from Marco, that is to thank the sponsors. The sponsors of this edition, I want to explicitly name them. It's Enel, it's Regione Sardegna, it's Fondazione CRT, it's RDS Radio, it's Italian Business and Investment Initiatives. Without them, really, these programs that is going on now for 13 years wouldn't be possible. So thanks again, and we hope to count on your support for more years to come. Now, before ending with our guest keynotes, I just want to, just a sentence on my side, maybe more on a serious note, and so then we can hold cheers and take a virtual picture at the very end of this presentation. I just want to say that it's been actually a real honor to be a witness of some of your first steps, for some of you, of your first step of your career. And really what we expect now from you is a long and especially an impactful career ahead of you. You just have to remember now that you do have a responsibility. You are graduated as a best, and as such, the country, your country, Italy, is expecting you to be. So really, you expect to be the best of yourself, and also they expect to be and to represent the best of Italy. So you are onto a path. There are expectations. There is a community behind you, and we're all cheering for you. So with that said, I think there is no better ending than passing the buck to somebody that went through a very similar process and path like yourself. Her name is Chiara Giovenzana. Chiara, thank you for joining. Maybe a couple of words about yourself. I think you're a perfect mix of everything that can be taken from such a program. So you're actually a scientist. You were part of the 2008-2009 batch of Fulbright Best, where really the focus was more onto scientists trying to turn into entrepreneurs, and the clear result is that they succeeded, especially looking at you turn into an entrepreneur and investors along the side. Before that, being a scientist and PhD in biotech, also spending time in Switzerland, but also most recently also turning into being a potential civil servant. So we know that your passions are really complete. Also, most importantly, just I think the best link that we have here, you're also the founder and the president of the BEST Association, and so we have no better speaker to try to conclude a few words of wisdom from somebody that went through the same program 12 years ago. So Chiara, thanks for joining, and the floor is yours.
Thanks Marco, and thanks to everybody. First of all, congrats to all of you. You've done an amazing experience, and so really congratulations for that. When Marco asked me to say a few words at the end of this graduation, I was really honored. For me, the Fulbright Best has been an incredible experience that, as it has been said before from one of you, it really changed my life. As Marco mentioned, I was a scientist, and thanks to what I've learned during the BEST program, I could turn myself into an entrepreneur. And an investor, and recently, as I said, yes, as a potential politician. So the Fulbright Best is not giving you only the skills, the tools of innovation and creativity, but it's really changing, and has really changed your mindset. That's what happened to me, and I'm sure that's what you're gonna see in your life in the next weeks. So Marco said that there are expectations, and it's true. You've learned so much, and now it's really time to give back, especially in this period. So I would have said this anyhow, but in this time of emergency and difficulties, this is even more important. So we said that before the virus crisis, we were used to say that we were living in a time of exponential changes, where technologies were going so fast that we couldn't keep up. So right now, with this virus crisis, the changes and the uncertainties that we encounter are even higher. So our society, our country really do need all of you, each of you, all your expertise and your willingness really to strive and to do better. So it's going to be tough. I was talking with a few of you a few days ago, and I know it's tough. It's tough to go back from Silicon Valley to Italy, especially in a period like this one. But it's going to be an amazing opportunity. As it has been said during the video that we heard at the beginning of the graduation, challenges are also opportunities. And so right now we have amazing opportunities for all of you. The other thing that really I missed when I went back from the Fulbright program was the team, the friends. Many of you mentioned that. What you develop during these months is probably something that you're gonna have for the rest of your life. Some of the friendship that you built are gonna stay with you. And so because of that, we decided to found the Alumni Association. So the idea was really to keep the connection, to build a community among like-minded people that have gone through the same experience in Silicon Valley and have gone back. And so the idea is really to try to help each other. So the goal of the association is primarily supporting the alumni and help the alumni to connect to each other, but also to connect to the innovation ecosystem here in Italy, to the world, to the business world, to the academia. And especially in a time like now, it's really important that each of us work in teams. The challenges in front of us are so big that it's really needed. Not a single person can solve the big challenges that we have in front. And so let's keep posted on the next step of the association, because I'm sure it's gonna be a great platform, a human platform to strengthen the connections among each of us. So again, thank you and congrats. And really try to do your best. There are great expectations, but I'm sure you're gonna do a great job.
All right, if we were in a live situation here, we would have a lot of clapping, and that's what I'm doing for everybody else. Chiara, is much appreciated. It's pretty clear that this is an experience that has changed the course of your life, but it's also very clear that you are giving back and you're really playing forward and you know, playing a role of leadership and what has been given to you. So I think this is much appreciated. I think we just have the possibility of having 6 people here on the screens. So this is the kind of end of graduation. That's the time where people would you know, get all hugged to each other. So this is what we're going to do at the very end. So thanks, Chiara. We're going to have 2 groups because we can have just 6 people. And that's the picture time of... you don't have it? That's fine. Just show your hand. The idea is really to take a picture. We can also collage all together. So we're 6 of us at a time. So at the count of 3, we say best, okay? 1, 2, 3. Best. All right, that's number 1. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Switch. Switch. We need the other 5 on. Somebody's already getting the party started. So who else we're missing here? I think we're missing Marco. You tell me when we're ready. Are we all ready? Yes? Yes? Should we go? Okay, at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Best, you guys. Best. All right. Okay, so that was sweet. Oh, we missed Virginia. Did we get Virginia? All right.
Dov'è la telecamera?
That might take some time here to swap people all around. Okay. So the collage that it will. Oh, Ricardo has a digital. You're already fully digitized. All right. Let's try again. Okay. 1, 2, 3. That's the last one. Picture. Okay, we did it. All right, guys. So thanks a lot. You have now the mic is open for everybody. In real time, we've either been drinking, you know, a nice breakfast, or for you guys, you know, having dogs barking in the background, or celebrate with your families. It's been a pleasure, and this is a free stream rather than rather than later. So all the best, you guys.
Thank you, Marco.
Thank you.
Bye, Marco.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks to all the participants.
Bye.